to the Nortex Mining YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We discuss mostly helium mining. There's also a little bit of other mining content, so this is interesting to you and you find it helpful, definitely would appreciate a subscribe and a thumbs up. Today we are going to be talking about the mobile to helium HNT token conversion rate. And I know I've been speculating since mobile got released and started to be mined by 5G miners. The HIPs that have been passed have kind of been discussing this conversion rate as sort of like a floor price that HNT is going to be the backstop for mobile. So the price of mobile shouldn't fall below this is kind of the thought process. But my big thing has always been, okay, well, how low is low? Or how low is this floor price going to be, right? So just for a quick, reminder, this is what we're talking about here. This conversion rate that's part of HIP 53. How much HNT in reserve does the mobile sub-DAO have, divided by the outstanding supply of mobile. That's going to give you your price of mobile in HNT terms. Great. Simple division, right? These are just numbers pulled out of thin air as just examples. The actual trading price of mobile on exchanges is coincidentally close to these numbers, but just know that these are just examples. These are just numbers pulled out of thin air just to show you how division works, which is great, right? I mean, we all know how division works, right? Just put it into the calculator and magic, it pops out, right? Okay, but how exactly? Okay, so we know in this numerator that's the HNT in reserve for the mobile sub-DAO. We know the denominator is the outstanding supply of mobile. So, okay, to get to the conversion rate, you need to know two things. How much HNT is in the treasury and how does it get in there? And how much mobile is in outstanding, really, and how does it get there? Well, this we already know from the mint schedule. And this can kind of be estimated if you want to. I'm kind of just doing it maybe after the end of 1 year just to see what it would be like. Let me take you to that. Yeah. So we know about the 50 billion pre-mine of mobile at the start of the year. This started a little bit later than August 1st and is supposed to run until August 1st, 2023. Now we're nowhere near, we're not going to be anywhere near this 66 billion emitted in year one, potentially. I guess we'll have to see what happens once the transition to Solana happens and how this eventually starts going. But the team is behind in this implementation, right? I mean, this was proposed and passed many months ago, and so they're just behind. But okay, after year one, we know that there's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 116 billion mobile minted. Great. Okay, we know that. Cool. The other side of this equation is, okay, well, how much how much HNT is in the treasury and how did it get there? Okay, so for that, we have to look at the HNT mint schedule, which that's known to us too, right? We have, the target HNT production per epoch, right? As of August 1st, 2021, there's 2.5 million HNT minted per month, which comes out to 1736 per epoch, right? Target epoch size is 30 blocks. That's roughly 30 minutes. Great. So how much of that actually goes to miners? Okay, well, for that, let's come to the distributions. And with the update to HIP 70, we know that the 6.85%, which is this challenger and consensus group rewards, are going to be given back to the mining pool. So now we just have to take out this 32% for security tokens. So that means, let's go to this sheet actually. That means coming to miners, again, this HNT per epoch is about 1736, but not all of that gets to miners, right? Some of that goes to security tokens. So what's coming to miners is about 68% of the emissions. Great. So that's about 1180 HNT. What else is there to explain here? Okay, great. So we know the HNT mint schedule coming to miners. Okay, now the next thing we need to figure out is how much HNT does the mobile sub-DAO get? And to figure that out, you need to take a look at this utility score formula. Okay, so over in HIP 51, it discusses this utility score that is to distribute the rewards among the DAOs. Again, here, simple multiplication. It's just multiplying three numbers together. And these numbers represent how much VEHNT is staked times how much, we'll call it data, is flowing through that sub-DAO, times a rough count of how many active devices there are on that sub-DAO. Okay? So this spreadsheet, sorry, I kind of jumped to it a little bit out of order here, but that's what this spreadsheet is okay, how much data is flowing through each sub-DAO, how many devices are on each sub-DAO, how much did it cost to bring them on, and then how much VEHNT is staked. So this was the whole debacle a while back that a lot of people thought, oh, we're going to go to, this new 5G mining, and the 5G miners are just going to earn all the HNT now, and it's just going to be terrible for the IoT network. The IoT network's dead. You've heard the FUD. I'm sure you've seen it on Twitter, Reddit, all over the place. So going through the calculations, that's just not really true. At least in the initial estimates that I'm coming to, there's probably going to be a lot more people that stake and put their stake towards the LoRaWAN sub-DAO, which globally there's more, people around the globe, I think, that are going to be more interested in the IoT and keeping more rewards for the IoT network than the 5G network. So we'll see what that final number ends up being between, the stakers. Do they stake it towards the LoRaWAN network, or do they stake it towards the 5G network? Here I've just kind of penciled in a 3-to-1 ratio. These numbers don't really mean it. We're just putting in numbers for the calculations. The yellow highlighting is what you really need to pay attention to, because if 90% of the rewards continue to go to the LoRaWAN network, that's going to inform later the floor price of mobile to HNT, and then eventually, I'll get to it in another video, the IoT to HNT conversion rate, right? But so for now, we're just kind of plugging numbers in. We know there's about 7,000 mobile radios out there. IoT hotspots. Okay, so 57% of 973. Did I do that in here? 57% of 973. Okay, I have 610 in here, but let's do 57. That is too much. That is one too many zeros, y'all. All right. Okay, so I wasn't that far off. 550,000 LoRaWAN devices online right now. Okay, so this is, like I said, this is probably going to be higher, maybe like 4-1 or even like 5-1, in terms of, who's going to stake the most HNT towards the LoRaWAN sub DAO. Okay, so going through these numbers, that's why, again, another point of that FUD debacle was this one chart that showed 1.2% for the IoT sub DAO, and that was in terms of opportunity. I think in terms of data opportunity, and everybody thought, oh, the IoT sub DAO is only going to get 1.2% of HNT moving forward, which, according to the Helium Foundation blog I'm showing here, no, that's not true. The LoRaWAN hotspots are expected to still earn over 90% of HNT allocated to sub DAOs in the near term, even after mobile 5G launches, which makes sense, right? There's going to be a lot more LoRaWAN miners than there are mobile 5G miners. And so you'd expect there to be a lot more stake going towards the LoRaWAN network. And in doing so, maybe it's a 5-1 ratio, maybe it's a 10-1 ratio. I don't know. I'm just putting in numbers here. The key point is that seems to be right. This is probably going to be over 90%. And for the 5G network, it's probably going to be earning, somewhere between 0 and 10% of this. But let's be really optimistic here for the 5G network and say, oh man, it's burning up, data or something, and it's got about a 10% share. So that means you'd have 10% of the 1180 HNT that's going to miners every 30 minutes, right? Okay, so in terms of monthly, that's 170,000 HNT. And then yearly, you're talking about 2 million HNT, where the LoRaWAN is still getting about 18 million HNT to its treasury. Okay, now the picture's starting to get a little bit clearer. Once we figured out reasonable estimates for this mobile sub-DAO utility score, let's give mobile the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, let's say it's going to be between 0 and 10 all year. How much HNT does that get the mobile sub DAO? Okay, great. Now we've kind of penciled that in. So let's go to the sheet. This is now too ambitious here. The monthly mint, I need to multiply this by 68%, because the other 32% are security tokens. Okay, so let's say this mobile score is 10%. So monthly mint would be around 170K, which matches what we got here. So for the year, even at the entire year at 10%, you're looking at right about 2 million. Now, the other thing to kind of factor in here is, does the treasury start with any HNT? And I think initially I thought, well, maybe there might be some HNT that the foundation or someone is going to put in there to kind of jumpstart the mobile treasury. But I don't think that's happening. I'm operating under the assumption that this is probably going to be a 0. Again, this would have to be some type of gift here between the Helium Foundation, Nova. I'm not really sure where this starting HNT would come from. And everybody in the community seems to be operating under the assumption that this is going to be a 0. Point blank, it's going to be a 0. So, okay. So then after a year, how much HNT is going to be in the treasury? If we start with 0, there's a monthly mint of about 170K. And also, let's not forget, August of 2023 is the next halving. So, if this whole system, and in turn, and I mean the HNT going into the mobile sub-DAO treasury, starts in January, when the move to Solana is supposed to happen, and the 5G proof of coverage is supposed to happen, and there's going to be HNT going now into the mobile sub-DAO treasury. This only ends up being 1.5 mil in the HNT treasury at the end of the first year, which again is taking this optimistic look at there's going to be, you know, a mobile score of about 10% the whole year. The circulating supply of mobile we've penciled in here as 116 bill. Why that comes from, from the mint schedule here. Maybe it's going to be less. Maybe all this mobile doesn't end up getting minted. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what would happen. The pre-mine is going to be locked up for the most part. And then they're still estimating 66 billion emitted in year one. And okay, so the HNT is going to be having, but what does it say? The proposal is to have halvenings of mobile issuance every 2 years aligned with the HNT issuance halvenings. This requires a 1-year stub period from August 1st, 2022 to August 1st, 2023. Okay. Yeah, so that's not happening, right? I mean, it's already November. They have not started minting mobile at all. We're still on this Genesis pre-mine. The Genesis funds are taken from this 50 billion pre-mine. Let me go to that. The Genesis period just got extended. So they're going to pay out this 10 billion mobile and then start pulling from this 30 billion mobile to keep paying miners to stay online for now. So, again, this might not be 116. Maybe this is what? I don't know, closer to 76,000. Sorry, 76 billion. It's at least going to be 50 because that's the pre-mine. Then once things start to get minted, let's call it 88. So again, just kind of working through some scenarios. This is about the size of the network right now. We're right at about 7,000. I have projected here the network to grow. I had it about 16,000 radios per month. Again, I don't think that's the case anymore. It used to be. Sorry, over here. It used to be the case a couple months ago, but oh geez, come on. Okay, here we go. Yeah, but the last 30 days we're only growing at a rate of about 1,000. So some of the hype is dying down. Obviously, everybody wants to get in early as soon as possible to try and maximize how much mobile they're going to be mining. Again, the numbers kind of look, my projections, about accurate with what's kind of happening right now. It's gotten to be about, or it was about 8,000, and now they've started to enforce the speed tests, which is kind of changing things. So I don't have the speed tests factored in here, and it's tough to kind of gauge. But anyways, this is just kind of a lower end of what you can expect. So, okay, we finally got to the top here, how much HNT gets into the treasury after 1 year. So then we look at the conversion rate, and that is 4 zeros, y'all, before this one. 4 zeros. And if there was all that 116 billion mobile minted before the August halving, I mean, this is 4 zeros and then a 1. So you'd be looking at about 76,000 mobile would equal 1 HNT. Okay. So what does that mean? So at this floor price, every 1 million mobile that it's given out during Genesis really only converts to about 13 HNT at this rate, which is very low. So hopefully, the market price of mobile is higher. Right now, the market price of mobile looks to be 0.3 zeros and then a 7. So you could get about $700 in exchange for 1 million mobile at the moment. So again, this floor is really, really low, right? 13 HNT is a far cry with HNT at $3 or sub $3. 13 HNT is a far cry from the market price of mobile. And again, where am I getting that market price? It's only listed, as far as I know, on Hotbit here. Yeah, I mean, these are dark times. This is a dark winter. 0.3 zeros and then a 7 per mobile. Again, there's not a ton of liquidity on something like this, so you can go to some of these other, like I've said in previous videos, these other Telegram channels to do some trading there with some other people, some other traders. But this is looking to be a very, very low floor price, and so you'd hope that, not you, this is me, I'm talking to myself here. So I've got to figure out, okay, am I going to take some risk off the table and, convert some of this mobile at current market prices? Or am I going to just wait? And, eventually, after, however many, 2, 3, 4 years, there's going to be a significant more amount of HNT in this treasury. This circulating supply of mobile is going to go up too. So maybe this comes up, just for let's see, experimentation's sake. Let's just say someday there was 5 mil mobile in there, maybe 3 years down the line. And what would this look like after 3 years? After 3 years, there'd be 149 billion. So let's change this to 49. Yeah, so I mean, this floor price is probably going to stay pretty low for quite some time. Years, in fact. Probably a lot of years. So I think this is going to be something that is there as a backstop. This probably confirms the thinking of this is definitely going to need to be there as a backstop, but this does not provide, in my view, in my calculations, hit me in the comments if I'm doing something wrong, but this does not look to me like converting mobile to HNT is a good play at any time frame. I mean, this is, 3 or 4, maybe there's more. Maybe there's more. Let's say, maybe there's 10 million here. Like, that's better. That gets better. But I mean, again, still quite. And I mean, again, this also depends on the price of HNT. This could skyrocket back to, more than its previous all-time high eventually, right? That's kind of what everybody's still doing in the game. If you're still here, I mean, I'm pretty sure you think it's going to go past its previous all-time high. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, guys. But yeah, again, appreciate you guys watching. It's going to be a long, long time before the mobile to HNT conversion rate is going to be anything significant. I'll keep you guys posted with what mobile's trading at, obviously, and if that's going to be a better bang for your buck in terms of mining and then liquidating, getting your money out and letting the rest ride, or mining for long-term holding. We'll see what the market price of mobile does. It's still very early, and if there's enough people that want to get their hands on some mobile token, then I'm sure we'll see the demand spike and prices based on supply and demand, right? So we'll see where this goes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, keep your costs low, keep your spirits high throughout this bear market. Let's keep on mining, y'all.